Hello. I'm assuming you're here for some jewelry, right? Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what we do here. Have you shopped with us before? No? Okay. Okay, perfect. So we have all sorts of jewelry here. Any taste, any budget, we got you, you know. Yeah, you haven't shopped here before. So all the jewelry, it doesn't cost anything in the sense of like money, like a dollar. It has a different sort of trade-off, if you understand. You don't? Okay. Clearly you don't know anything about this place. That's fine. Listen, all the jewelry has a soul. No, not like a metaphysical, like everything has a soul and everything has, and then no. Like all the jewelry has like someone has died and they've possessed this jewelry. Yes, all the jewelry is haunted. That's probably a better word to use. But I prefer to use it has a soul, because haunted always makes people think it's kind of like scary, you know, like it's a haunted house. Oh no. You know, most of these souls are very gentle, benign, you know, it's not gonna ruin your life or scare you. It might, but probably not. Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, I can show you some things, and maybe you can try to get a better idea. Yeah. I think you might like it. People like it because you get sort of just an interesting sort of presence in your life. A deceased soul is different than like a person. You know what I mean? It's not like they're gonna be like talking in your ear. It's not like a best friend or anything. They communicate in different ways. You know what I mean? It's just a way to spice up your life, and of course, by getting this, you will have sort of a direct contact to the beyond, and that is very interesting, especially for a lot of the witches and spiritual people who come in here. You know, it's not like these souls can technically do anything. Like they're not gonna be like, trying to pull strings with like I don't know whatever the big guys and the big girls are up there. You know what I mean? Like it's not like you can buy one of these and be like, make sure I get into like, Afterlife Ultra. It's just it's an interesting thing to do, and there's a lot of things you could do with the soul. But I'll explain all that later if you find one that you feel like is speaking to you. What are you thinking? A necklace, a ring? Okay, just anything. Got it. Well, let me show you. First I'll show you this necklace. This is a little. She unfortunately was cracked and broken, but she was glued back together. Some of her paint is worn off, but with the permission of the soul, you may be able to repaint it. Yeah, it's got this pearl band and this little velvet bow in the back. It's cute, right? So this piece. It's possessed by a little girl, a rich girl from about 1907. Yeah, she lived a very nice life downtown Manhattan until she died. Unfortunately, yeah, it was unfortunate, but it's okay. She was only 6. Not that doesn't count or anything, but she was okay. The life she had was really nice. Fortunate that it didn't, I guess, come to more of a fruition after that. But anyways, she came to this object a little bit later. She hopped around, actually hopped around my shop a little bit, but she's always loved dolls and doll motifs, and so she ended up choosing this necklace for the time being. Yes, the souls can go in and out of objects, and you might find that they fancy a different object that you own, but usually they tend to stay in one vessel that they've chosen, and she seems to quite like this vessel. But she's very, a lot of this speaks to her. She likes pink, she likes pearls, she likes very, sort of fancy, sort of fun things. Obviously she's a child. She never grew much further beyond that, but also when you are a soul, you do get to experience more things, and they do mature a little bit. But if you want sort of a a sort of a brighter spirit. She's a little spoiled. She's a bit of a brat, honestly, but you know, I'm not trying to talk bad about her. I'm just saying the truth. But she's a fun sort of, it's a fun kind of light energy in the room. But she may be a little bit demanding, but you know, it's still sort of a fun thing. She's fun to be around, you know? Certainly one of my favorite pieces that I have. Yeah? You like it? Yeah. Her name is Elizabeth, in case you were wondering. Yeah, she unfortunately passed away. Sorry, girl, but it's okay because she's been enjoying afterlife and being able to see everything she's seen, because really it's not over. You know, when we pass away, we get to experience a lot more things, so it's not too sad. And everyone who remembered her is also dead, so you know, it's not like she's too. But then again, you could be the one who's carrying on all of these souls. You know what I mean? Yeah. I have this little. Speaking of pearls and fabulousness, this belonged to a woman on the Upper East Side. She passed away about 10 years ago. She was very old. She was 98. And she loved dogs, specifically poodles, so she had this. Yes, her name was Gertrude. And she was well liked. She was very old school, but you know, in like a New York old school kind of way. So they're very a lot of personality, a big personality. She really likes she loves musicals, she loves plays. That's why she wanted to be a brooch, because she wants to be an accessory to fun, fancy nights out. You know what I mean? Do you feel like you do? Do you feel like you go to a lot of shows? Do you like the opera at all? You've never been to an opera? It's not that expensive. You should go. It's gonna be like $30. I mean, she wouldn't really enjoy that because she likes nicer seats, but you could definitely go see an opera with her, a musical with her. If you're like to go to jazz bars, I think she's a great one to bring along too. Okay. Yeah. That's definitely a good one. I have what else do I have? I have these earrings. These belong to a woman named Sally. She passed away when she was 69. But she, and by the way, I mean, age affects souls in weird ways. If a soul dies when they're young, they don't really grow up a lot more in the afterworld. They gain experiences, but their brain's kind of always there. Obviously, you pass away with all of the knowledge that you have, but at the same time, you're not like that age, really. You're the age that you're an eternal age. Anyway, so these are little bauble earrings, and she purchased these shortly before she passed away, and this was in the early 2000s. She was a very eccentric person, as you can tell by these earrings. She liked a lot of fun, sort of crafty things. She liked a lot of craft fairs. She would go to a lot of craft fairs on the weekend. She loved the Renaissance Festival, things like that. And that was really what she did. She lived in New Jersey, actually. And I find a lot of these objects at estate sales, and I can just sort of tell if there's a soul associated with these. And so she's another fun one. If you like to do, if you are interested in crafts and art and anything you can really take around with that would really please her and make her happy. She's a great presence to have in your home. She's really gonna brighten things up, bring in that really light, airy energy. Yeah. So that's Sally. Most of the ones I buy are of women. That's my own bias, but I do have a couple from men. This is from a man. This is, was actually, he the ring he possessed later, but this is from a man who died in the 80s. Yeah. His name was Samuel. Samuel's okay. He's interesting. I think that this is a ring that he wished he had owned, but he didn't because he lived a rather boring life. Yeah, I'm talking bad about you, Samuel. He was just sort of not that he was boring, but you know, he didn't really have there were a lot of unfulfilled things he wanted to do in his life, but he ended up just mostly like, you know, working and like being a guy. I think he wanted to have a more artistic life and live those sort of things to fruition. He played guitar. But the thing is, in the afterlife, he certainly found a lot more opportunities to live out the things that he always wanted to do. So he's in a much better mood now, and that's why he felt so empowered to possess this little horned ring that is a little bit more of it's definitely more of an eccentric piece. It's very heavy, if you want something like that. So he feels a lot more emboldened, actually, in the spirit realm. And so in that way, you know, death can be sad to us, but it can actually be quite happy for other people. Yeah. But he's nice. He's a nice person to have around. He loves music. He loves it if you have like a vinyl collection. He's definitely more of a grounded sort of spirit. He died rather older as well. So I'd say that with the older spirits, as I said, age isn't really a thing in the spirit world, but I do think that when you have more experience in the world, you're more of a grounding force as opposed to a really young one. Yeah. Let me see. I have another sort of showy one. This was let me show you another brooch. I feel like brooch spirits always have a very specific showy sort of energy. I mean, brooches are like sort of an occasion sort of piece, you know what I mean? Yeah. But this is Eliza, and she is quite a bit younger, unfortunately. She passed away at 38, but again, she said living it up in the spirit realm. She was very creative. She was a painter, and that was what she did for her life. She had no money, but that's besides the point. It doesn't matter because money doesn't exist where she comes from now. And so she actually kind of goes more in between the spirit realm. Some people like to stay in the object and really soak up the world and the earth. And some people like to go back and forth between the spirit realm, and sometimes they'll go back to their jewelry. She definitely likes to leave the jewelry quite a bit. So if you're like worried about having something around you all the time, she's a good one to pick up because she won't be there all the time. You know what I mean? Yeah. But she likes art. She likes shows. She's very easygoing spirit. She was really well loved. I can tell in her life. She was really easygoing. A lot of people really liked her. So I think she would be good especially if you've never interacted with the spirit before. She's very easygoing and she isn't going to have a lot of demands on you. Yeah, definitely not. Let me see what else. Oh, I mean I don't have anything like this exactly. This is also another haunted object. This is from 1928. And the woman who possessed this, actually, she lived a full life. She died in the early 70s, I want to say. But she wanted to possess an object that reminded her of her young life. And that's why she found this necklace that I did find at an estate sale. I like to keep her close to my heart. She's definitely the closest spirit I have to me. And you could have multiple of these, yeah. I mean, you may find that some spirits don't get along and you will have to give one away or return one. We can talk about that. Yeah. This is let me see. This was I have one more actually. Well, I have quite a few more, but I could show you a couple more. This is, if you ever had one of these, it's got all of the a lot of saints and idols on it, like a Catholic kind of bracelet owned by a lot of a lot of Italians, a lot of like Eastern Europeans. I like love these. But yeah, she's a grandmother, and she passed away late, and this was sort of something she had around the end of her life. She just liked it. She's very religious, obviously, and she wanted to stay close to all the saints. If you know, another good one to interact with, if you haven't interacted with house spirits, a lot of like very old people that kind of act very old. Some people, you know, they go into the spirit world and they're like, yay, I'm like ageless, whatever, like let me party it up. But some people, they really loved being old, and that was kind of the best time of their life. So they very much lean into being like a grandmother or a great grandmother. So she definitely would be a very like maternal, grandmotherish sort of spirit who would very much want good things for you. She likes to be around young people. So she definitely wants to be sort of that grandmother in your life. So, what do you think? That's all I have to show for you today. I do have more, but you know, I just like to give people, you know, it's not just like shopping for regular jewelry. You're interacting with other energies here, and I feel like if I give you so much to sort of think about and go through, then you're just gonna be, you almost forget all the personalities of them. And obviously I want to deal with the utmost of respect with my products, yes, with my people, with the souls. So what is the cost? So as I mentioned before, these don't cost dollars in the way that, you spend $1 for like a Diet Coke. How this works is that you may take this, as I can tell in my soul that you are going to be someone who is respectful of these items. If I ever, sort of get the feeling that you aren't, then I might have to track you down. That's okay though. I'll just take it back. I'm not gonna, get upset at you. But you remember, you have to be very careful, very sensitive with these things. The cost is that when you die, you will go into a piece of jewelry from me. I have a lot of jewelry that is not possessed, but I have a lot of people who take my jewelry. So it's sort of like, I give away a possessed item, but I know that in due time, these items that I have that are not possessed will come back and be possessed. You know what I mean? That doesn't mean that you're gonna like die sooner. Don't worry. I understand that my shop may go on to someone in many years, and then they will inherit all of the haunted objects. So, it's not gonna affect like your lifespan or anything. But when you take something, you give something. Also, if you, as I said before, this won't impede your life in the spirit realm. It'll just be sort of an extra thing that you have, that you will be a part of the jewelry. Yes. So, is there one that you think that you want to go with? Eliza. Okay, good choice. As I was saying, she's perfect for a beginner like you. And I'll just put this in the box here, okay? Perfect. Absolutely perfect. And you can just go take her home, and do not hesitate to come back and let me know if there's any issues, anything at all, okay? Based on you and your personal energy, I think I will put you into a ring. If you're very specific about where you want to end up, you can always come back and we can pick out a piece of jewelry for you to possess when you pass on. But again, that'll be in many, many years, so you're free to come back whenever. Of course, you only have one soul, so you can't pay me if you want a bunch of them. But if you want more than one, I just have to trust you and know that you're doing a good job with your current piece. And then over time, I may be able to give you one or two more. Yeah. Well, I hope you enjoy your time with Sally. If there's ever anything you need, any concerns you have, don't hesitate to come back and ask me any questions, okay? All right. Have a good day now.